Hello, hello. This is the second part of the homework 50. So your task for this is to name the polygon. So what you want to do for this is use the formulas that you have for each problem. The first problem, the sum of my interior angles is 1,260. So that formula is n, or that equation from the facts is n times n minus 2, which is the sum of any polygon, the sum of the interior angles of any polygon is equal to 1260. So, or n minus 2 times 180, not n. I get them confused. I got to look them up. So it's 180 times n minus 2 equals 1260. So I'm going to divide both sides by 180 here. And the 180s cancel, so n minus 2 is equal to 1260 divided by 180, which is seven. Okay, so n minus 2 is equal to 7. So n equals 9. Now that is called a nonagon. All right. Each of my exterior angles is 60, so that means that the outside angle there is 60. So I'm going to divide 360 by 60 because the sum of the exteriors is 360, and that's equal to 6. So that's n equals 6. That's a hexagon. I have 14 diagonals, so if you have 14 diagonals, that's n, okay, so that's the hexagon there, nonagon. This one is n times n minus 3 divided by 2 equals 14. If I multiply both sides by 2, I get n times n minus 3 is equal to 28. And to solve this mentally, it has to be 7 times 4. So n is 7 there. So that's 28. So no, that's 28. So n is equal to 7. And that's a heptagon. The next problem says each of my interior angles is 150. I think the best way to do this is to know that this is 150 and then the exterior angle is 30. So now 360 divided by 30 is 12. So that's a dodecagon. Now another way to see this problem is n times 180 times n minus 2 divided by n equals 150. Now if you solve for n here, you would get n equals 12. That's a dodecagon. I have no diagonals. The only polygon that has no diagonals is a triangle. Try drawing diagonals in a triangle and you won't have any luck. Each of my exterior angles is 36 degrees, so that means I have a 36-degree angle here on the outside of the polygon. 360 divided by 36 is 10, so that's a decagon. I have 108 degrees in each of my interior angles. Now, like I said, I think the best way to do that is to take this 108, and this outside here is 72, and 360 divided by 72 is 5. Okay? So that's a pentagon. All right. Now, the sum of my interior angles is 2,340, so I would write n minus 2 times 180 equals 2,340. So here n minus 2 is equal to 2,340 divided by 180 to solve that equation. and that's 13. So n equals 15. That's a pentadecagon, right? It's called a penta, which is 5. Deca, which means 10. Pentadecagon is 15-sided polygon. Now, 170 diagonals is much the same way to do as this one. So I'm going to write n times n minus 3 divided by 2 equals 170. Multiplying both sides by 2 gives me n times n minus 3 equals 340. So what two numbers multiply to get 340 that are 3 units apart? Okay, that's 17 and 20. So 20 times 17 is equal to 340. So n equals 20. Now I think if you look this up, this is called an icosagon. All right, the last question in these problems, it says each of my interior angles is 135 degrees. So that means that the exterior angle here is 45 degrees. So I have 135 degrees here. Okay, so if each of the interior angles is 135, that means the exterior is 145. In order to solve that, what I'm going to do is take 360 divided by 45. I'm going to do that. 360 divided by 45, I believe, is 9. Pretty sure. Got to check that out one more time. Eight. 360 divided by 45 is 8. So 8 sides is an octagon. Problem number 16 says that angle C is 35 degrees. These two are angle bisectors, so this angle is congruent to this angle, and then this angle is congruent to this angle. So I'm going to call these two angles X, and I'm going to name these two angles Y. So 35 degrees taken away from 180 is 145 degrees, okay? So now if I do if I know that 2x plus 2y equals 145 degrees, right? Because this angle is 2y, and this angle is represented by 2x. Now, we don't know what the measures of them are, but we know that it's represented by 2 times x, and this one's represented by 2 times y. And we know that this angle and this angle have to equal 145 degrees to give the triangle 180 degrees. Now, if I divide both of these by 2, which will give me the sum of these two angles, x plus y. So x plus y is equal to 72.5. Okay? So now what I do in order to find this angle, I'm going to say that 180 minus 72.5 will give me the measure of this angle right here, because the sum of this triangle down here has to be the angles have to sum to be 180 degrees. Now this then is 107.5, I believe. Okay, and that's the measure of angle T. All right? All right. All right, moving on then to look at a problem like this. It says if C and D are midpoints, find the measure of angle ACD. Now, if these are midpoints, that means that if this is a midpoint of this, and C is a midpoint of this segment, what that means is that these two segments here are parallel. And what that means is that these two angles are congruent. So if I can solve for x and substitute it in here, that will give me the measure of this angle, which will then give me the measure of this angle, and that's the one I'm looking for. So now I'm going to do that, okay? So I will figure out what my equation from the facts are here. And it's going to be 2 times this is equal to this based on the mid-segment theorem. So 2 times 3x minus 6 is equal to 4x plus 14. So I get 6x minus 12 equals 4x plus 14. Subtract the 4x, and I get 2x minus 12, and this is equal to 14. So I'm going to add the 12. All right, so 2x is equal to 26. So x is equal to 13. That's what I got for x. If I substitute 13 into here, I get 2 times 13 plus 30, which is 26 plus 30, and that's 56. So the measure of this angle is 56 degrees, and since these two angles are corresponding angles and they are congruent, this angle is also 56 degrees. All right, I think that wraps it up. All right, that wraps up part 2 of the worksheet. All right, so review these problems in the video and let me know if I made any errors. And take your time, stop the video, have a good day.